Oh, look, check this out. I was looking around at like different online dating apps besides Tinder because, Tinder is just, I don't know, played out or whatever.
It's Tinder.
It's just Tinder, yeah. And it's like I found this one, and just the name of it alone is great. It's just called BBW Thick and Lonely. And I'm just thinking, like, I mean, it looks so cheap. I mean, look at that. It's like the picture isn't centered, even. It looks like that's like a stock model.
Oh God, yeah, that's so funny.
And then it just says lots of lovely, attractive BBWs out there. I love how they capitalize out and out there, and it's not a new sentence. This says, do you know where and how to attract them? ? This app gives you insight on a successful BBW search encounter. Who wrote that shit? I was just thinking, wouldn't it be great if we could be that honest as men? Because, we always talk about the divide. And look, honestly, women have always gotten the short end of the stick. But in this case, think about it. What about a guy, like small dick and desperate? Like that would be like, a good app. How many people are going to fucking click on that? Oh, well, shit. I'm going to find me a man, small dick and desperate. Back with a new show deep in the basement. Professionalism turned off, screw the ad placement. Skit comedy trolling, plate full of dough. People get offended, you don't get the show. And welcome to another You Don't Get the Show. The show where if you don't get it, you don't get it. I'm Jay Ayla Rock and I'm here with Randy. What's up?
What's up, play? It's been a while.
Oh, too long, man.
So funny thing is I'm sitting there and as we kind of like did in our intro, kind of here, real life got in the way. But what I laughed at was sitting there and thinking, I'm like going back as like we skipped the weeks to do it. I'm like, damn, does he have enough stuff from what we've already recorded to like cut up and at least put something out? And I'm like looking at the video feed and watching the gameplay. I'm like, I think we're gonna have to do a show soon. And then like I saw that one video, I'm like, oh, okay, he still has something.
There is. I actually have a backlog, but what happens is that Ignacio's going crazy with the World of Warplanes because 2.0 came out, so he's having fun with that. So it's kind of funny. I'm just releasing my bad gameplay videos versus his really good ones just to see the comparison. But it's like, okay.
So really cool thing. So I found out. So with the NVIDIA video cards. I don't know if you've had one or if you have one now. You have it? Okay. So you know how they have in the GeForce experience that it comes with? They have built into that a bit of software called Shadowplay, which lets you like record or stream or whatever. And it's supposed to be super easy and all that. So I was watching a YouTube video of one of like the guys that I watch, and he's like, oh, they added in apparently in one of the patches to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds an option that you can actually record your highlights of your kills, your deaths, your wins. And what it actually does is kind of like shadow play goes on in the background. It kind of keeps like, you can select how big in gigabytes it keeps of like a temporary feed. And what it'll do is when you get a kill, a knockdown or a kill, it will actually clip out about 45 seconds. So couple of seconds leading up to the kill and then a little bit afterward.
Oh, nice.
And it's cool because I've set it up and all that, and I've gotten some pretty cool, like I have one which I uploaded to my regular YouTube channel. And it's funny because it was like a triple kill, which at the time that it happened, it was like one of those reactionary things that you don't think about. But then like after it recorded it and then I watched it, I was like, how the fuck did I pull off like some of the things that I did? So, like, it's funny because I literally was in South Georgeport, where the little town part is, not where the containers are, if you happen to know, because you've been playing a bit.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in one of the 3-story buildings that has the stairs that go up around like that. So literally the only 2 guns that I found in this building were a crossbow and an over-under shotgun. So 2-shot shotgun. And me and my team, we dropped in there, and there was like a good amount of folks around us. And we sit there, and I saw a couple of guys. I took a couple pop shots with the crossbow because they had no idea where I was shooting at them from. And I marked the spot. I'm like, I saw them here. One of my teammates, like most of my team got killed. I was literally the last person alive on my team. They killed my last teammate, and there he's like, your marker was bullshit. They're coming for you. So I could hear them running around. So I pull out the double barrel shotgun, and I'm literally on the staircase just on the edge of the 2nd floor. So I kind of used that third person, not aim down sights, but the third person kind of aim. And I like creep my way down the stairs just so I could look around the corner and see the hallway coming up. Just as I'm doing this, 2 of the 3 guys come walking up. And I literally like take a step out, aim at the first dude, boom, pop him. And then I'm literally walking back towards the top of the stairs because I realized once I fire my 2nd shot, I'm going to be out of it until I reload. So I like kind of aim towards the dude, pull the trigger, and I nail him. So I'm like, cool, I got 2 of them. So I'm reloading, and I can tell, like, wherever that 3rd guy is, this is when he's going to push me. So I'm literally put the 2 shells in. As I'm clicking the gun up, I literally see the 3rd guy come up, and I just, like, turn on him and boom, boom, and drop all 3 of them.
Nice.
Did it reactionary, and I didn't even, like, think anything of it. And then when I saw the clip, the 2nd dude that I killed, how I hit that dude with the buckshot, I still don't know. Because I was coming up the stairs, and the railing was literally like right in front of me. And I literally just skimmed some of the buckshot over the top of the railing, and it hit him dead on in the face, and that's what knocked him out. And I was like, how the fuck did I pull that off? Like, it was crazy.
See, that's why they have game footage in sports. Because sometimes you'll do something, and the person will be like, look, that's a great catch. And the guy's like, yeah, well, see, when you slow it down to 1/100th, it was an accident. You actually fumbled it and then caught it again, and you're like, oh.
But
I love that about recording.
Yeah, like I'm at the point where what we want to do is we want to get a whole bunch of, because he's been recording those things too. So we want to like put together a compilation of all our like game sessions that we've played together and kills that we've gotten playing.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
The one that I wish I would have had that I thought it was on and it never recorded it. Like I literally went 1v4 and took out a whole squad. But what made it funny was I was in a house, in one of those yellow houses that has the windows all over the place. So it's like the worst fucking building to hide in. And I'm sitting there and I can hear guys coming up on my left and on my right. But then I just hear noise out of my left. And I don't know why. I'm getting ready to all right, let me get ready to hit this guy. And I don't know why. I kind of did one of these, let me turn to the right a bit to see if I hear anything. And as I'm doing this, my teammate who's watching my feed literally spots for the split second that it was there. He's like, there's a guy on your right. There's a guy on your right. And I turn to the right, and there's literally 2 guys just standing there. And when I mean they're just standing there, they look like AI, not controlled, just standing there looking at me. And it was one of those and just started shooting. And I had an with an extended mag. So I dropped both the guys. And then I turn around, I reload. They open the door. The guy's on my left. One guy comes in, knock him out. The other guy starts to peek in and out of the doorway. I close the door on his ass so he doesn't hit me. And then I reload again, and then he pushes into the room, and I kill him. And then what's funny is afterwards we're sitting there, we're like, what the hell were those 2 guys doing? And at first we were thinking they just came in the door and they spotted me. And then we were thinking, I'm like, no, they were not at the door. They were literally in the room with me, really close by. And then my teammates, I guarantee you those 2 were sitting there say something funny before we kill him. Say something funny before we kill him. And they didn't expect me to turn around and blast them.
I bet they deleted that recording.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's crazy about the recording through NVIDIA? It records anything.
Oh yeah.
So one day I was recording. I was playing Warframe, and I was recording that, and I forgot to turn it off, and I started watching Netflix. So when I went to go cut up the video, it recorded the Netflix stuff, and I'm like, oh, So I guess maybe that's one of the ways that someone does that shit.
That's funny.
They'll record anything. You're streaming, I'll record that. So it's like pretty handy.
The only downside to that shit is like it does take a bit of space. Like I don't have that many clips in my hard drive. Let me see. I'll tell you right now.
Well, I bought a 3 terabyte, so I
have a 3 terabyte, but if you look at it, I got 28 clips, and it's taking up 7.5 gigabytes. Of space.
I put mine on. I think I put mine on medium too. I hate to see if I put everything on super high. It's probably like a gig a minute or something.
Yeah, I think mine's at 720p at 60 frames, which is not like that's like the medium setting. I think a high it's like 1080p at fucking like 120.
So you need to give Obsolete Gamer some rights to those videos, man. We could use some PlayerUnknown.
I need to put a compilation together. Either that or like I'll start Shadow Play recording like the entire round. I need to start doing it.
So before we go into the main story, I do have a question. Why is your beer in the back there look like it's a moth attracted to the light? It's like hanging there.
So that is essentially the first stuffed animal that I bought my wife when we were dating. And it's funny because like, you know, we got it, I think it was like a fucking either Santa's Enchanted Forest or it was fucking the Dade County Youth Fair. Or no, actually it was fucking Dave and Buster's now that I think about it. But you know how like they have the little things so they hang them up on the so you can see it, and it was the last one, so I ended up picking it up. So my wife was like, I don't know where to put it, and we had like a little hook for a picture frame and all that. She's like, oh, we'll hang it here for now, and it's been sitting there forever.
Nice.
So he looks like he's eating the light. So
yeah, and it's funny because since he's white too, and the light's white, it looks like he's like draining the energy from the light.
He's sucking the life out of the light.
All right, so for a long time now, there's been debates about addiction to video games. I mean, we heard this way back in the day, but especially when MMOs came out, when EverQuest and stuff, even Ultima came out, there were all these stories about addiction. World of Warcraft, it really blew up since that was so mainstream. And it was always about someone, you know, sitting there for hours, losing their job, dropping out of school, not eating, things like that. And it kind of died off, but there's always some stories sometimes. And a lot of times when you have friends who quit a game for one reason or another, they'll tell you this story like, oh, I gotta quit it because I gotta get my life back and things like that. Well, the other day I was looking and there was an article in GQ magazine of all places, like super long article. And it was talking about how video game rehab clinics are a thing. Like just as you'll see the drug clinics, the sex clinics that supposedly Harvey Weinstein's going to right now, the video game rehab clinics are real. You have outpatient ones where you go, you visit, you do things like group and things like that. And then you have actually in care where you're in a facility like, what was that one that they always send like the rich people to? That you whenever you do anything wrong, you go.
Shit, yeah.
It looks like a resort. That's the worst part.
Yeah.
It's like the place looks like you're going to Sandals. You know? Yeah. But they actually have these, and there's a guide actually that talks about like video game treatment options. And what's really funny is how they talk about some of like the clues and symptoms of video game addiction. And the thing is that for me, I wonder what would be that step between someone that's playing a lot but can still manage their time either because of how their life is designed or whatever, and then someone that's addictive. Because like with liquor, it's like you really kind of tell, you could kind of tell a little bit easier when you're going too far. Drugs, I think it's even a little bit easier to know when you're going too far. Sex, I guess it depends. That could be a little hard too. But like video games, like for instance, okay, it says here that a lot of the people who do this, like a clue that a person is addicted to video games, is that they play to alter their mood. But the thing is that I think like, what would be the correlation between you saying, oh, I want to play Madden and I'm playing this game and I got hyped for it, and oh, I'm having a terrible day, let's play some video games. Like, I just want to know where they come to the fact where that's an addiction. I guess you would have to have a psychologist or someone on to tell you that, because if you're feeling bad and you have ice cream, or you're feeling bad and you say, I'm going to watch my favorite movie. What's the difference between that and saying, oh, I'm feeling bad, let me log in and play video games?
Yeah, I think the big thing with that is it's probably like multiple things of the symptoms that they show here. Because if you sit there and you look at it like, gaming to escape difficult life situations and stuff like that, like everybody has that whole like, oh, I had a really bad day, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to do something that makes me feel better. But like, I think some of the key ones too, like where, and it comes with like any addiction whatsoever, like poor performance at work or school. Like when you're literally saying like, I want to sit there and play instead of go to work, or I want to play instead of like do XYZ that you need to do. Like that's where they start looking at it more so of a like, oh, okay, like this is where you've crossed the line type of a thing. And what's really interesting, like I sit there and I say, like, if you ever want to see, and I cannot for the life of me remember what documentary it was, but it was a thing on like gaming. And part of the thing where it was like this guy that it was when like World of Warcraft blew up and all that. And he was like, he had played games in the past, but then stopped playing games. And like, he heard about this World of Warcraft and he heard about all these stories of people like fucking, spending days and days and getting addicted to it. So he's like, I want to see what the hell this thing's about. So he literally took like a level 1 character and started leveling it up and started seeing what the whole draw to the game was. But at the same time, like he started also interviewing people that were addicted to the game or blah, blah, blah. And what was really interesting was there was a guy that he interviewed that was a reform, like he had become addicted to World of Warcraft. And it was interesting because like he sat there and he talked about how like, oh, that it started off that, him and his brothers used to play games and they had fun. And then like his good friends and his brother got into World of Warcraft. And then they decided at one point, because he was like, I don't know if I want to play that and blah, blah, blah. Like one of them ended up buying the game for him. And he's like, all right, whatever, I'll give it a shot. And like he literally like just got fully hooked in on the game. And when I mean fully hooked in on the game, he was like, pretty much any moment that I wasn't at work or doing something I needed to do, I was playing the game. And then that transitioned to I started calling out of work just so I could sit at home to level up and get the best equipment that had just come out. And then it got to a point where he was just like, he talked about how like eventually he lost his job and he's like, okay, so I got to figure out how I'm going to pay my bill. So he's like, so he would literally create accounts, free accounts. And he's like, that was the worst thing that they did. He's like, they gave you an account, they gave you 20 free days to play or whatever. He's like, he would literally take this free account, start a level 1 character, max it out in these 20 days, and then sell off the account. And that's how he was paying for his bills and things like that.
Woo.
So it was like this whole crazy thing. And then like, they talk about how like he was this like fit guy and he used to go to the gym and he stopped going to the gym and he just freaking started playing and he freaking started gaining weight and started getting obese and started having all these like health problems. And so it was this like whole thing, like this dude's life, you could see like just spiraled out of control because of how addicted he was to this game. And it was just like to the point where I laughed, where I'm like, man, I might be playing a little too much. And then I looked at this documentary, I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Well, see, that's the thing I want to know. Us being ex-Red Eye, and for anyone that doesn't know, Red Eye was a group where we all brought our computers together and we would play together in a LAN. And we'd play all types of games, but also we were all friends. So outside the game, we'd still hook up, play games. Of course, when online came on, we played online together. All of us played games, but at least as far as the principal members, the people that I actually know, the people that we know, there wasn't really, I guess, that stereotypical addict. Everyone had jobs. Everyone had family relationships. At least it looked like everyone was normal. I guess it seems like the documentary you said and what's listed here, it seems like what happens is you have to get to the point where what you're doing in your life is actually effective, which to me is kind of interesting because you could be what they call a functioning alcoholic. When you're technically you're drinking too much.
Just still an alcoholic.
But you can still go to work. You're not driving drunk. You're not beating up your wife or doing anything like that. I wonder if that's the same thing with video games. Were we like functional addicts because most of us was in school at the time. We didn't ditch school or if we did, it was like one day. It's not like we ended up failing out of school out of it. Same thing with work. Sure, we would take a vacation to play a game, which to someone who's not a gamer would be like, that's crazy. But that's the same thing. I've seen people take days off to go wait in line for a movie or a concert or something like that. So I guess it really has to screw up your life before you're, quote, an addict.
Yeah, because that's the thing is I've been a huge fan of the Battlefield series or whatever, right? And if you remember from Red Eye So Vu, Roger, we both have been playing Battlefield since 1942. So for us, anytime a good Battlefield has come out, we'll sit there and we're all right, we're gonna play some and all that. He and I have both done the thing where okay, it launches on such and such day, I'm gonna ask for the day off. And then we'll just play the game, And that's one of those things where it's we do that specifically just for that one game. That's our game. We've been playing forever. We're fans of the series type of a thing. Where a common person will be oh, that's kind of odd and this and that. It's what's the same thing of you find out, you say, one of your favorite comedians or a movie's going to come out that you take the day off so you can go see it and make sure that you don't have to worry about it. It's kind of the same thing. And I think one of those, if you want to look at that line that gets crossed, there's that old saying of the one more time, which is the kind of same thing of the gamblers. Just oh, you're losing. Oh, but I'm going to win on this next one. I'm going to win on this next one. They keep going and going and going and going. And it's kind of the same thing. I know I can sit there and play and I'm all right, I'm going to do another round. And then I'm all right, what time is it? Okay, I could do one more round. And then I'll be all right, I got to go. If you can differentiate when you say okay, I need to stop, or just be I'm gonna go, and then you're oh shit, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, I gotta be at work at 8. That's when you kind of start to question yourself, okay, I'm maybe doing this a little too much.
Yeah, when you're really justifying every little thing, it's okay, well, I can get 30 minutes of sleep, and then while I'm on my way to work, I can close one eye, and then I can still drive with one eye open, and I think I can make it to work. And then work today isn't that hard, so I can sleep a few minutes in the closet. Yeah, okay. When you're starting to do that stuff, that you're heading down the wrong path.
Funny that you say that. I'll never forget something that happened to me when I was young. And I tell you, it is the once and never again. But I remember I was going out with my friends, and we went to, where did we go? Oh, it was Howl at the Moon Saloon.
Oh, nice.
When it used to be down there in Coral Gables. So we went on a Thursday night because it was college night, so all the drinks were super cheap and all that. And we're hanging out, we're having a good time, and blah, 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 blah. And I had work the next morning. Now, at the time, I was working at the Sears outlet store that was on Northwest 25th Street, the one that used to be over there by the airport. And I remember, okay, I got to be there at 9 or 8 or whatever it was. I think it was 9. So I'm all right, with traffic and all that shit, I got to get up super early. No, I think I had to be there at 8 because I remember I was I have to get up at 6:30 in the morning. And I remember as we're sitting there, we're having fun, we're drinking, and hey. And literally, I realized around 12, I'm all right, I'm going to stop drinking. Even we had a ride home and everything, and I'm all right, if I got to get up in the morning, I don't want to be hungover or anything for work. So I'm all right, 1 a.m., cut the drinks off. I'm cool, we'll probably be here another half an hour and we're out. Still plenty of time for me to get sleep. Man, we're out there and we're having so much fun. What felt like a half an hour, I sit there and I look at my clock. It is 3:30 in the morning. And I'm okay, so we're way the hell out here. It's going to take us at least a half hour to get home. It's going to take me at least a half an hour to go to sleep. So I'm so it'll be 4:30 a.m. before I freaking get my ass knocked out in bed. And I got to be up at 6:30 in the morning. I get home. I literally, it was one of those, the old Jeff Foxworthy joke of you get home, you sit there and you sit in your bed, you lift the sheets, you put one foot into the bed, you put the second one into the bed, the alarm goes off, you slap it, you sit down on the edge of the bed and you go, it's going to be a long day at work today, yo.
Mistakes were made.
That's literally what it felt like, because I remember getting into bed, I passed the hell out, alarm went off, I turned it off, and I'm well, it felt like literally I just closed my eyes 5 seconds ago.
And that's the worst.
And that's the worst. I mean, I felt rested because at least I got a 2-hour stretch of sleep. But man, I was like sitting there, I'm like, man, this is gonna be the longest 8 hours I've ever worked. And that was the thing, is working at a warehouse, like I was lifting and moving heavy shit. So I drive down there. We had a Subway that used to sell Cuban coffee. I walked into the Subway. I got my breakfast. I said, give me a colada. And the guy's like, do you need cups? I'm like, no, I'm good. The guy looked at me like, wait, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And it was funny because I walk around, I eat my breakfast, and I take that colada, and I drank half of it straight. And then I sat there, I drank half, and I'm like, sip, sip. And then I kind of felt like the caffeine starting to kick in. I'm like, all right, I'm good. And I threw the rest away. And I worked by 8 hours, not tired at all. Like I felt like, boop, I'm awake, I'm alert, let's do this. Worked my 8 hours and then literally punched the clock at 5:30. I'm like, all right, I'm out of here. I remember getting in my car and like it just started to feel like that little bit of like tiredness start to kick in. At the time, my friends were like, hey, we were thinking of going out tonight. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going out tonight. I need to rest. I barely slept. I remember, this is what's funny. I remember going and getting onto the 826. Now, mind you, at 5:30 on the 826, that's all stop and go traffic. I had to go all the way out to Miami, not Miami Lakes, but where the hell is it? It's like Northwest 104th and like 130, 150, 160 something. So way the fuck out there. So I had to basically go all the way out to 104th and get off of the 826 and then go all the way down. I shit you not. I remember getting on the 826. Now, the thing that gets me about this is I had a stick shift car. So I had to shift gears and go and stop and all. Consciously, I remember getting onto the 826. When I like came to and was like, oh, and I'm like, how the fuck did I get here?
Oh, shit. I
literally came to where the 826 splits that it heads off towards Kendall Drive and then it turns. That's literally where I consciously came back. So literally from Northwest 25th Street all the way out there, my body was on automatic. My mind was gone. And the thing that was crazy is I was stick shifting and moving and stopping and moving and stopping and moving. Like, I don't know how the fuck I did it. And like when I came to it and like, how the fuck did I get here? And then I sat there and like, okay, I need to make sure I stay awake because I'm going to cause an accident. You know, like the only good thing about it was the fact that it was just stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. So we weren't moving that fast. So even if I would have bumped into somebody, it would have been too like great. But bro, I remember I got home that day. I freaking ate. I took a shower. And this is fucking 7 o'clock at night or 6:30. I hit my bed and I woke up at 9 a.m. the next day. I fucking slept.
It's that muscle memory from video games, man. That's what saved your life. You were like playing
coordination.
You're like playing GTA, except you're like, I'm gonna put restrictions on me. I can't break any laws or hit any people.
Yeah, that was it, dude. But it was like funny because like back then it was like, all right, I know, I like. That was to me, I'm like, I literally pushed my body to its limit, and my body was like, all right, everybody gets one. Here's your one. Don't do it again.
Well, what's interesting is in this, it talks about as far as video game addiction. They say that, of course, it can isolate you from friends. It can mess up your schoolwork. It can cause you to not do your responsibilities. And it says here that even excessive gaming can be fatal, that people have died of heart attacks, blood clots, things like that. And it said the warning signs of video game addiction include gaming to escape difficult life situations, playing for longer periods as time goes on, skipping showers and meals to play, poor performance at work or school.
Skipping showers and meals to play. Skipping showers, a lot of gamers already do that to begin with.
Yeah. Lying to others to hide gaming activities.
Let's not forget the rule that we had to implement in Red Eye of y'all motherfuckers better take a shower before you come here.
And exhibiting signs of irritation when forced to stop gaming.
That's
Good
funny.
God. I've had at least all of those. I mean, here's the thing. One of my worst experiences, and this had to do with the game mechanics, is I remember during the EverQuest days, there was the
I knew you were going to say that shit. Because EverQuest was the game that you'd fucking sit down like, all right, I'm going to pay for an hour. And next thing you know, it's 7 o'clock at night, and you're like, hey, I haven't eaten anything and all that.
Yeah, because look, at least World of Warcraft was one of those games where even back in vanilla, you didn't have to play for hours. The game wasn't designed like that. You literally could play an hour and do decent. But if you want to hit everything or you want to hit a level that you want to, that's different. In EverQuest, like for the 3D boots, why I say it was one of my worst experiences, because first of all, before that, we bought what we called the EverQuest phone. So just think, this is before you had voice over IP and all that extra stuff. This is back in the EverQuest days. So we bought a phone that had a headset like this with a microphone. So we could play and talk, and we would do the party line where it's like, and just for people that don't know, back in the day, your phone service didn't come with party chat where you could connect to other people. So we had to make sure that we all had that. Then person A would call person B would call person C, and we'd be, so before I even get into what we did, we had already spent money to upgrade our phone plan and buy brand new phones for EverQuest.
I remember that shit too.
So
yeah.
the Freedy was this mob that was in the back of a zone that was already kind of difficult to go through anyway. I think it was Soul B. I think that's what it's called. And basically, in EverQuest, they had not only timers for how long it would take for the mob to spawn, but placeholders. So what would happen is you would get there, and let's say it was the Freedy. That doesn't mean he's dropping the golden Afridi boots. You can kill him and he drops nothing, or he drops steel boots that are worthless or something. So let's say you kill him. His timer may be 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But then when that 20 minutes is up, it could be, I forgot what his placeholder was called, but it was called like a Freedy avatar or a Freedy representative or some shit. And that dropped nothing. So just imagine you're sitting there 15, 20 minutes and then the guy spawns and it's not him. So you kill him. You wait another 15, 20 minutes. He spawns. You kill him. No boots. So we were there literally like 72 hours on the phone. And there were people like trying to justify like, okay, well, I really got to go to work. Can one of you do this? Like, I'm going to give you my account information so you can log in. We're all friends, so no one's going to steal anyone's account information or anything. But still, we're there on the phone, and it's to the point where we're thinking of what to order because we've already ordered from Domino's or Pizza Hut like 3 or 4 times, and we don't want to do it again. We feel bad. And like I said, there's no Uber Eats or nothing like that. You only have whatever local places are delivering to you.
Yeah.
We're playing around like, okay, oh, the Chinese place. I didn't order from them yet. And none of us is taking showers. And it's like, when it was all over and we all had these little golden Afridi boots that really, in the scheme of the game, didn't do that much, I started to have to realize my priorities. Like, that was way too painful and just terrible. I had a pile of junk food. I smelled terrible. And it was stereotypical gamer to its highest point.
That was the exact image if you thought of like in the what was it, the South Park episode where they start playing World of Warcraft? Yeah. The guy leaning back in the chair, tick, 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 tick. That was like that's typically what EverQuest gamers, like the hardcore gamers. Because I remember like that was the thing with that game, that I loved the game because it was such like a whole new experience of a game. Like that was, I think that, I mean, Ultima Online was the grandfather of it all. But like that was the first one that really kind of like blew up, that had a 3D world and had this huge. Now, like I remember, like the thing that I'll never forget, and it's funny because I laugh at the way like when people like, oh, EverQuest or World of Warcraft is so hard. Like you go on these quests and they tell you to go here and go there and they mark it on a map. I'm like, motherfucker, you don't know. Like I remember playing EverQuest and starting on the West Coast. I forgot what the hell the name of the big city there was. But I remember I'm like, oh, I'm going to do some quests because like people were like, oh, yeah, if you do quests, like you get really nice experience and you can level up kind of quickly. And I remember getting a quest in this main town and they're like, oh, you got to go to such and such a town, blah, 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 blah. And like that's where the next part of the quest is. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like looking and I'm following like all the signs. And it's kind of like, I'm like, at one point I realized like, wait a minute, this town that they're trying to send me to, I'm like, I don't see it in any of these little like waypoints on the signs. I'm like, where the fuck am I supposed to go? I'm like, are they fucking with me? And I remember like going online and trying to find, and like luckily back then, like they had those like what would be considered now like the Wikipedia pages where people would put information in it. And I'm like, okay, I need to look up where the fuck this town is. So I put the name of the town and then like boom, I get a hit from it. And then I realize, holy shit, this town is on the opposite side of the continent. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, it probably won't take me that long to run over there. So I start running. And I'm looking on the map where I am. And I'm running and running and running and running. And I realize, like, my dude, literally after running for a good 20 minutes, like, literally the arrow where my dude was moved 1 pixel on the map. And I'm like, holy shit, this is going to take me a while to run over here. And then on top of that, I start asking in chat. I'm like, hey, what's the quickest way to get to such and such place? And I'm like, is running an option? And literally everyone's like, you're freaking insane if you're going to run. Number one, it'll take you days to get over there. Number two, you got to cross through these super high level zones that they'll kill you before you even, like, you walk into the as soon as you spawn in the zone, all the mobs will like sniff you and go, oh, there's a easy kill, boom, and they'll rush you. So like one guy's like some guy whispered me, he's like, honestly, the easiest way is have a wizard port you to this one spot and then escort you to blah 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 town, because you're gonna spawn in on a high medium to high level zone, and then once you get out of that zone, you're kind of in the safe zone you can make. Yo, I remember fucking getting a wizard, having to pay a wizard to port me over there, and then it was like running for your life because the mobs that were there were all over the place and they were fucking coming for you, and it was one of those run because if they hit you, you're dead. Like,
and that's the thing. EverQuest was one of those games where people actually had legitimate reasons to complain because, like you said, for one of these areas, I think it was when you were leaving Freeport and you're like in West Caranas and all that, and you're heading towards Quanos. There's this area where it's like level 10 to 14 during the day. I think it was Kitchikor Forest. And at night, it turns into level 40 up mobs. So if you're not paying attention to what time in game it is, you'll be running through the zone and all of a sudden it'll turn night and all the mobs disappear and turn to high level mobs and just eat you alive.
I think that was the spot because it was this area that was like forested, kind of swampy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, when we poured it in, it was nighttime. So that's why they were like, run, like.
And that's the thing. They would put the wizard and the druid portals near the worst areas. Like you would land there and right next to it is like a camp of high level orcs or undead or something like that. So if you're high level and you port in there, they're not going to aggro you because your aggro range is smaller. But the thing is, in that game, if you were low level, your aggro range was a huge circle. And then everyone would be like, oh my God, like you said, they would swamp you. But that game, it did make you stay on there and play. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm going to play for 8 hours. If you want to do anything in that game, it was minimum 2-3 hours just to do barely anything.
My favorite thing, I cannot remember the name of it, but it was that Knoll City that when you were like level like 12-ish, like you could go in, but like once you got to the like, because it was like a hollowed out tree that you had to run down along the edge. And like the Knoll guards would spawn every so often. And once you hit, like, I think it was like they were like level 6, level 7. Once you were like level 12, level 13, you could run by them and they wouldn't pay attention to you because they knew like they were an easy death. But I remember like if you ran all the way down, like that's where like the heavier, like they were 12 to 15, like they were up around your level. And then you had the leader of the damn Knolls down there. The one thing I will never forget about that zone is you always had
Butcher
that
Block,
one,
wasn't it?
Was it Butcher? No, it wasn't Butcher Block. But it was the one, like every so often, you just start seeing in chat just spamming, train coming, and it was some dumbass that went too far and triggered one Knoll and would start running out. And the thing was is that once one Knoll was triggered and he was running, as soon as he passed by the Knoll guard would join in on the run. So, like, you'd be sitting at the entrance of this place. You see a dude come running out, and there's, like, fucking 30 Knolls running after him, and then they'd eventually turn around and run away. And then you had to hope that you wouldn't aggro one of the Knolls that was running back, because then the whole mob would attack you. So, like, I remember fucking... You would see, like, someone would yell out, train, everyone would start running towards the surface, because nobody wanted to be that one guy that got massacred by the mob. So everybody would run out. They'd wait for the fucking train to pop up and then wait for it to all run back. And then, all right. And then you always had in chat, all right, who's the dumbass that triggered that? Blah, 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 blah. I cannot remember the name of that. Oh, my God.
I remember that. Because you had that was, and there was like there's a quest in there where it was like a low level knoll that was outside, and you after you killed him, like the guards would come after you, and then you had to go inside the town.
Oh, yeah.
And you could, the thing about that town is you could fall down that tree, but there was water at the bottom, so it wouldn't kill you. But once you're down there, the only way to get back out is to run all the way to the top of the tree, and of course there's guards all around that motherfucker.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, that was the thing. That was the thing that pissed me off about that was it was like, oh shit, you know, like you had to go down there, and once you got down there, going out, like if you were the same level or a little bit lower than any of the guards that were along the wall, they'd come after your ass.
Oh, high pass hold. That's what
high pass hold. That's what it was. Yes. Yeah, that was the one that I remember. Like oh
my god! On this website, it says map last updated 8/28/99.
Jesus.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, let me see if I look at the zone. No, it wasn't. No. It wasn't high pass hold. I remember high pass hold because you had to go through that to get to the fucking opposite side of the goddamn city. Oh, what the fuck was? Let me see. It was in the Eastern Plains.
Yeah, Kitchikor Forest was definitely the place that transforms, because it's the one that led to Riverdale, which were the ones with the big feet, whatever, I forgot what they're called. But yeah, that's where they would transform over in the middle of the night. And it's like, just the stuff in that game, you know, it tested you as a game player, like especially like places like A Night in Arrest, you know, the State of Arrest. You'd go in there and you could fight outside. The outside mobs are like maybe 12 to 15, 16. And then inside the house was like 20s, but then in the basement of the house was like 30s. So like in one zone, you could have like something that is totally gray and gives you no EXP to something that'll one-shot you. It's like, nowadays, if you had that in games, people would like freak out. They'd be like, this game is terrible. But back then, man, that's how it was.
Blackborough was the name of it.
There you go, Blackborough. Now that you say it, yeah.
Yeah, because now that I look at it, the entrance looked like the head of a knoll.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, bro, I remember. Yeah, and it usually had like two little low-level guards outside guarding the door, which like if you were anywhere near or above that level, like they wouldn't even pay attention to you. So like they'd let you walk right in. But it was like once you got like halfway down into the black whatever the hell the name of it, just halfway down, that was when they started getting higher level, and then the leader was all the way at the bottom. And he was the one that everybody wanted to get because you could get the like really nice items from him. Like he would drop those like rares every so often, which for that level at the time, it was like, ooh, those are really good. Those are really good boots or whatever.
Now, the last thing that this thing talked about that I wanted to mention was the part about being antisocial or not being able to, I guess, socialize properly with people outside of the game. Mm. I wonder if that is more of an aspect of not leaving your house to play with others more than just a game, because as much as we would talk shit to each other, we would respect, like there were very few fights considering how much shit we talked, how much we'd say you suck, I owned you, blah, blah, blah. And you're in close proximity with all these people with computers, some worth thousands of dollars, and you're playing around for days. There was hardly any arguments, and anything that was an argument was usually settled really quick. Mm-hmm. But I have to realize that what we had with Red Eye was unique, and that a lot of people play just as much as us, but they never went out and met people. And you could tell that. One of the ways I actually found that out was back when EverQuest had their fanfare, because you would go there and there were some people that really just didn't realize that you can't act the way you did online in real life. And that's why there were actually some real life fights and cops were called for a couple of idiots at fanfare. Now, 99.8% of those people were good, but it was that 0.2% that was acting like an ass. And you see that today, even with people that aren't gamers. You see that with kids who all they are online, Facebook, any type of chat, Snapchat, and they're just doing that. But then when they get in school, it's like, oh, I'm going to be the exact same person I was online. And then that shit doesn't work. So I think that one of the biggest differences is it's not just games, because you can play games, you can curse somebody out, you could talk about them all you want. But the fact is if you're meeting together and you're still having that face-to-face social interaction, you're going to develop those social skills. But if you're just always at home, you never leave your house, then that's where you're probably going to not know how to interact with guys, much less with women.
Right. Yeah. No, like that's the thing where, you know, when you look at it, like you said, like if you were to listen to some of the conversations we had at Red Eye, especially the way we used to like talk smack to one another, like you're like, man, these motherfuckers hate each other, but we did it out of love. Like my thing, I will never forget, ever forget, for as long as we live, is the shade that used to get thrown back and forth between the guys that were on the Heat clan and everybody else at that Red Eye. And the one day that I'll never forget, and I laugh because I'm friends with George, who was the biggest shit talker of all of them. I'll subscribe to his like realty company website, and I'm like friends with him through Facebook and all that shit. But I'll never forget when fucking Ghost Recon, which one was it? It was like one of the Ghost Recon games early on came out. And they were like, they were talking like the shit of, ain't no one can beat us, we're the best, and blah, blah, blah. And like, it got into one of those like heated, we were going back and forth, and we're like, well, tell you what, you get your whole team, it was like 4 of them. You get your 4, we'll get our 4, and we'll play a deathmatch match, and we'll fucking see who, you know, we'll see who wins, and we'll end the shit talk. So it was me, Genome, Flying Penguin, and I cannot remember who our 4th was, against them. And the map that we played in was this map that was like blown out through most of it. So there were like buildings that were standing, but then there was also like a bunch of rubble. And in one of them, like one side of the map, there was a church that had the bell tower. And I remember we were playing, and I was like, okay, we all like got together, me, Genome, Flying Penguin, and all that. And we're like, all right, who's gonna do what? So like, I decided like, okay, I'm gonna play the sniper. So I literally took the 50 cal sniper rifle with a scope, and then the Desert Eagle handgun was my sidearm. And then these other guys grabbed their semi-autos and all. So we're sitting there playing. They get into a fight with, I think it was just like 3-on-3. They get into a fight and all that, and literally, Genome and Flying Penguin take out one of their guys. Their other guy takes out Genome, I think it was, or Flying Penguin, and then the other one takes out their second guy. And then what ends up happening is, or like the first guy or something like that, like we did a 2-for-1 trade. And in the second one, what ended up happening is I remember the other person like peeked out, and their sniper on their team, which just so happened to be George, was up in the bell tower. So he had a clear view and just boom, popped them. So all of a sudden, like I'm in a building, in rubble and building, laid out, looking, and I had the perfect view of around the corner, and I literally saw when Genome or Flying Penguin got dropped. And I'm like, all right, if these motherfuckers are gonna push, they're gonna sit there and they're gonna come out this way. So literally, I'm looking at the corner, and all I see is a dude go like this, and peek around the corner, and then peek back. I'm like, all right, be dumb and peek again. And as soon as he just like, boom, dead, blew his freaking head off. So I'm sitting there waiting. So it's literally now 1-on-1. And I'm sitting there waiting. And we're waiting. And we're waiting. And the timer's counting down on the round. And it's funny as shit because I'm like, okay, he's the sniper. Because that was the thing, is at that point, like, Flying Penguin came over. He's like, the only one that's left is the sniper. So I'm like, okay, if they're on that side of the map and he's the sniper, there's only one place that he could be, in the church tower. So I sat there to like get him going because I knew how these guys were. And I'm like, all right, so it's up to you and me. So if you want to hang out in the bell tower for the rest of the match, I'll let the 15 minutes go by and we'll call it a draw. Because I know you're up there. I'm like, don't make me sit there and like, you know, and be the one to like figure out how to get back there and kill you before you know. All of a sudden, the whole red eye went quiet, and all I hear is one of his other teammates like, "Oh shit, dog! I know you ain't gonna let him talk shit to you like that. You better go get him." And I'm like, "Oh, it's on now." So I'm sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and eventually, what do I see around the corner? Here comes George, and he peeks around the corner, and he peeks back, and I'm like, I know he's gonna peek again. My fucked up mistake was that I just so happened moved a little bit. And if you remember on those old Ghost Recon, like once you move, like your targeting reticle used to like kind of like have to come in before it would get a lock and then you were down. So what ends up happening, it's in that process of locking in, and I see him peek out again, and I take a shot at him and completely miss. But he had no idea where I shot him from. So the moment I shot and missed, he kind of peeked back and then just ran out. And I'm like, fuck, he ran. I'm like, where the fuck is he? Where the fuck is he? All of a sudden, I'm laid out and I'm waiting there, and I see on my scope just literally, the camera just does this. I'm looking down the scope, and I just see, like, I see something come across, and then it blocked my view, and I'm like, oh, fuck, he's right there. So I'm thinking, oh, man, he knows where I am. What ended up happening is he crossed the street and was walking down the sidewalk and crossed in front of the door of where I was laid out in the rubble. But because of my camo, we had the snow camo, like, I looked like a piece of the rubble. So I waited, and I realized, like, I unscoped, and I realized, like, okay, he hasn't turned back around. So, like, I get up, and I crouch, walk out, and I, like, literally just peek around the corner, and I see him a good maybe 3-4 feet in front of me. And I see him kind of, like, doing this through his scope. He's looking all over the place. I literally, like, and I only had, like, one shot left in the sniper rifle. I'm like, all right, I could literally walk up behind him and pop him with the sniper rifle. And I may or may not kill him. And I'm like, man, screw this. So I switched to my Desert Eagle. And I'm just creeping up on him. And I'm literally like, I could reach out and touch his back when all of a sudden, one of his teammates turned. And I see his teammate turn and look at my monitor. And just as he sees my monitor, he starts to yell like, oh, shit, he's right behind you. Dude, as soon as he went, oh, I just literally boom, 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 started shooting with the gun. But of course, because of the body armor we're wearing, it was damaging him, but it wasn't killing him. I literally fired all 7 rounds in that gun. But what made it great was my first 3 are literally center of his, or like lower back. Second shot, because of the recoil, is a little bit higher up onto his kidney because he started to turn around. Third shot was straight in his side. Fourth shot was in his tit. Fifth shot was more towards his sternum. Sixth shot was like above his sternum. And my last bullet from the recoil, he completely turned around. I literally had the gun pointed right in between his eyes and just boom, and killed him. Like, shot the gun dry. And it was so funny because he says boom, and I see his dude drop. Bro, that entire red eye erupted like, oh. I will never forget that shit, dude. As long as I live. That was the best. And he stood up. He's like, all right, you got me.
And that was the key. At the end of all that, no matter how much shit talking, no matter if you got your ass whooped, because I got my ass whooped a lot of times, it was all good. You know, you had your drinks, you had your food, you had your games, it was all good. Yeah. And I guess with all this that we looked at as far as the video game rehab, I guess maybe the key point is you want to try and actually connect with these people. Because one of the things I do see, even in games nowadays, is that you don't have that period where you play enough and you start to make friends. Like, one of the things that I noticed was, yes, EverQuest and even EQ2 had those long camps that I can't do because of time and things like that, and I didn't like it. But when you were in those groups a long time, you would actually start to talk. At first, you start out like any other group, where you're quiet, you're not saying much. But when you're going to be camping some mob for 3-4 hours, you start talking, and people became actual real-life friends. I mean, people made fun about EverQuest marriages and dating and things like that, but that's how you did it. When you're in a group for 6, 7, 8 hours or a raid, you end up starting making friends. And as much as I loved in World of Warcraft, where you could get a group like that and dungeons were like 15 minutes, people barely talked. And, and you know, much less you would never learn about the person. So, and the same thing with nowadays, games are so quick. You get in a group, someone might say hi. Like I'm playing Fortnite now. So you get in a group, someone says hi, no one else says hi back. the match is maybe 15, 20 minutes max, and no one ever says anything. So because of that, you have to try and get some interaction with people, because I think a lot of that will help this addiction. Showers and meals, you know, but at least get out and try to meet some people, because real life interaction is important.
And it's funny that you say that. The fucking the whatchamacallit, the Fortnite now, they fucking came out with their fucking survival shit.
Well,
They're
see,
fucking
I got something about that for Geek Salad.
Oh, okay, all right.
But I do know that we're premiering a brand new series based off on last episode when we had Randy going off on a rant. We call it Randy's Rant. So what do you got for us today?
Okay, so I hate to do this because it's like beating a dead horse, but we got to talk about it again. It is the trend of the microtransactions that are happening in games. So last time we spoke about it, and I ranted about what WB was doing with their loot boxes, and then the whole thing that they were coming out with, that $5 DLC for the character that was in memory of this thing. So at least kind of like WB realized like, hey, we're getting a lot of like bad talk about this, so they released that DLC for free. So at least they kind of turned it around. Now, what I laugh about the whole thing was, in all of the aspects of that's going around, EA saw what was going on and said, oh, y'all are fucking up? You know what? Hold my beer. I'm going to go one further. So a couple of weeks ago, probably 2 weeks ago, I got into the Star Wars Battlefront 2 multiplayer open beta to test it out. Now, this is one of those things where I was kind of interested in Battlefront 2, but it was like I was kind of gun shy on it because I was one of the fools that bought the original Battlefront, and I kind of like it was to me kind of like that, like the time you date that one girl that like she's like you really shouldn't have dated her, but you're talking yourself into like no yeah, it was good, it was all right, like it was like that. Like I bought the game, it was really cool. Oh, like it's Battlefront, but like when you really looked at the game. Like, we really paid $60 for an incomplete game. Like, we had to pay for the DLC to complete that whole game, which is that's a whole. You know what? That's going to be another rant for another day. Or I may just continue this. Who knows? Let's continue this one how it's going. So, as part of the thing in looking at the game itself, I realized like, oh, EA sat there and decided let's put loot boxes into Battlefront 2. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, if they're going to go the Overwatch route, which is the correct way you do loot boxes, which is all cosmetic stuff, it's fine. No. These motherfuckers, like I said, they said, hold my beer. We got some work to do. What they've essentially done in the game is you start the game with each of the different classes, which each one plays out differently, and it's great. And you have, at least for the demo, 2 weapons available to you. One was unlocked, one was locked. The only way to unlock the weapon was to open the loot boxes. Okay, fine. Like a progression type system or whatever. But not only did they put these guns behind the loot boxes, they also put the ability cards that you could put onto your characters that would alter certain abilities. A, give you different abilities, and B, alter the powers on those abilities. So what they did is the cards came in a normal, rare, and epic. And here's where the kind of like when you actually looked at the cards, it really was just like, what the fuck are these people doing? So one of the heroes that you could play at was Boba Fett. And one of his abilities that he has is you literally can jump and then activate the jetpack and fly through the air. Now you can stay a pretty good amount of time in the air with the jetpack if you manipulate it just right. Here's where the problem came in. So one of the like upgrades to that ability was that you took damage reduction while you were in the air. The regular card that you got gave you a 40% reduction in damage. Okay, 40%, whatever. When you looked at the epic version, it jumped up to 65 or 70%. And when you looked at the epic version of the card, it was 100% damage reduction, which meant as long as he was in the air, you could blast him with every single fucking thing that your team had, and he would not die. So it was this crazy thing of like, okay, so they've now made it where people are gonna want to play the game to unlock these things. Because if you sit there and you look at like some of the other classes, like you had ability upgrades that would give you more health or more armor. And some of those was like up to a 50% extra armor. So me having nothing and you having that 50% ammo, I could get the jump on you and you could still turn around and kill me before I killed you. So it's one of these things that it brought up concerns amongst the community of, well, wait a minute, if this is how it's going to be. And of course, they always use the line of, well, you don't have to pay a single dollar. You can earn it all from playing. Yes, that is true. But here's where the problem lies. You literally have to pay 1,000 in-game credits to get one loot box. And you, on an average per match, you will get anywhere between 100 to maybe 150 credits per match, which means you got to do 10 matches before you get one loot box. And the thing that's even crazier about it is it doesn't matter where you get 100 kills or you get 0 kills. You get the same amount of credits just for participating in the match.
Oh.
So it was this crazy thing where like the writing was going on the wall where they're literally doing this so that as soon as people get the game, when it comes out, they're going to be like, cool, I'm paying $60 to get a ton of loot boxes. I'm going to open them all up. So it like comes to this thing where it's like, and this is where my rant is, like, it's not a bad thing to have loot boxes per se, but if you're going to do it in the right way. There's a reason why Overwatch still does well. Like, they've sold a bunch of copies of the game, so they made money that way. They're selling a ton of loot boxes, which are all cosmetic stuff. You know why? Because there's people out there, they're like, ooh, this new skin came out, I really want to get it, and they'll pay the money for the loot boxes. You know, but it doesn't affect 1 ouncing of the gameplay in it. Now, since then, EA said, like, oh, it's not supposed to all be coming out of loot boxes. Like, some of those epic and things that you'll earn it through achievements in the game, that as you go playing the one character, like, you'll get progression and unlock it and stuff, which, still doesn't make it any better. But one of the streamers that I sat there and I watched, he said what they should do is the regular card gives you like a 40% buff. Upgrade it 1 level, now it goes up to 45 or 50, and then the 3rd level goes to like 55, like a small incremental difference that it'll make a difference, but not so much where like, hey, there's Boba Fett in the eye. Brrr, oh, wait, he's not dead. You know? And that's like the type of thing that people are really like it. Like when I looked at it straight down, I'm like, this is fucking bullshit. And what's really sad is this all started in the mobile market, that it all got tested out, and now it's eking its way into the major market.
I think that one of the key differences is you know, when you were saying this, it makes sense that, so when you think about loot boxes like in Overwatch, if they would have put items in there that could actually help your character be better, that would kill their whole idea of them wanting to compete with you know, League of Legends and things like that, because League of Legends is the same thing. You're not going to get an advantage because you have your misfortune in the arcade skin versus the gangster skin. So for them, I don't think it's necessarily because Blizzard Activision is so kind to gamers. It's that they know if they did that, why would you even compete in their ranking system? With Battlefield, yeah, they kind of sometimes have some competitions, but it's nothing like the mobile market or the fighting game market or anything like that. So that's why EA and these other companies are like, hey, you know what? I can go ahead and put this stuff in because we're never going to pack a stadium full of gamers competing for the best Battlefield player. But that's the thing I never understood, because even in some MMOs like EverQuest 2, yes, there were things that you could buy, like EXP boosters and things like that. But so much of what they offered in their a la carte menu or their add-on menu were things like dressings for your horse or for your house, things that aren't going to impact the game, yet people still bought them. And like you said, I think that even if you didn't give people anything that improved their characters, if it was cool looking, people would want it. I mean, just like you said, in Player Unknown Battleground, people are excited to get items that dress up their character and look cool. And even though you did say that does give you a slight advantage in base of camo or how people see you on the field, it's not like what you mentioned about having 100% reduction damage.
Yeah.
In Battlefront.
Yeah. So, and I contemplated doing this as a rant on its own, but it's like it's not a huge thing enough to do it. Like I have another one now that I just thought about, and I wrote it down. I'm like, this is for another day. But one of the craziest things that just got released a little while ago was, I don't know if you heard about it, about the patent that leaked out that Activision came up with.
Ooh.
So they came up, like it just leaked out. Mind you, they filed for this patent years and years and years ago. But the thing about it is that patents take a long time to go through and get approved, and it just got approved. What the patent is for a way for matchmaking to utilize something that will drive a pay market. So the way that the patent goes is what it'll do is it'll take players that have bought items in game that'll give them an advantage. And what it will do is this system will match up this like premium player with a player that does not have said item. And throughout the match, if let's say the premium player kills or does something to the player that does not have the premium item, it'll have a thing to say like, hey, so you got killed by this guy that had this weapon. You know what? For $4, you can have that weapon too.
Oh, wow.
And that, like, looking at how the whole thing works, or like, hey, you sit there and are on a team with that guy, and this guy's just tearing through people and be like, hey, want to be like Joe Schmo over there? For $3, you can get the same weapon he was using. So it's like a way that they were sitting there, and like when the patent came out, everyone was like, what the fuck? We're like, whoever thought that shit up got a promotion somewhere.
Yeah, seriously.
But like, it really like drives you to look at like, it's really starting to get bad how like the old thinking of the mobile market is leaking over into the mainstream, because that was like shit that you would see in the mobile market. Like games like that Clash, not that Clash of Clans, but the one that was like the 2-player where you had like the little king and you, like, I know people that say like once you start getting, like when you're early on, like it throws shit at you like crazy, like, hey, take this, and then later on it starts matching you up against people that have these like crazy things that they've spent money for, and then it's like you start getting your ass handed to you, and then you start driving that fuck, like I want to sit there and like get this stuff too. I'm gonna have to start opening up my wallet. And the crazy thing about it is like when you look at it, and it's interesting because I just heard of a story today that the British government is looking into it, is kind of like going full circle to our initial topic, is when you sit there and you look at it, these loot boxes that give you the incentive to get these things that will make you be better in games, it is a kind of form of gambling. You're putting money down and hoping that you get one of these things. And it's gotten to the point now where the British government is actually looking into, and they may pass a law that will make these type of like loot boxes that you pay money to get items like illegal. And it's going to be crazy because you know it and I know what's going to end up happening. They're going to pass that shit in Britain, and all these game manufacturers are like, fuck it, we don't sell our games in Britain anymore. Like they'll take that hit of the money from over there.
I could see it now. You ever been on one of those sites? It doesn't even have to be a porn site, but just anything that's maybe kind of adult, and they'll have that little window that says, do you want to pleasure your girl and make her say wow? And then they'll be like, buy this. And it's like, it's going to be the same thing in the game. Like you're going to be playing a game and it's like, so I noticed that you suck. Do you want to be better? Spend $4.95 now. Or in real life, someone walks up to you and slaps you, and a little sign that comes up and it says, you have been slapped by a millionaire and he's going to get away with it. Do you want to get away with it? It's like, come on, man.
It's getting to the point where it's ridiculous, like ridiculous. And like the more and more that I see this, it's just like, it fucking aggravates you. Because it's like, Jesus Christ, like we're getting to the point where, like I said, I am totally fine with loot boxes that are cosmetic. And like you say, it's gonna be because Overwatch is pushing for the, hey, we want to make this a competitive game. You can't make it competitive if you give players items that'll give them a huge advantage over others. And that's the thing where, like, if you sit there and you look at it, and it's pretty interesting that when you look at like CSGO, CSGO's the same way. All the guns are the same. You're just paying for all these skins, you know? And it's just like going through and seeing like some of this stuff, like they need to change how they're doing. Like Battlefield 1, when you look at it, they're trying to make it competitive. They're adding that 5-on-5 mode that's a competitive mode. But if you look at it, everything that you get in that game, you unlock as you go leveling up and gaining the currency. You know, so you just unlock those weapons based on your character level, like how much you play that one class, and then like how much in war bonds do each of the guns cost. That's it. It's plain and simple. And essentially the only thing you get out of their like quote unquote loot boxes are skins for the guns. That's it. You know?
So my question is this. If you're playing a game like that, where you know that these certain players who spent a lot of money are going to just own you, and unless you just happen to have the most awesome skills in the world and you can somehow beat them with the default guns, when do you balance the I will make money off the people who will buy these items so they can compete with these high level guys, or the people that say, fuck this game, I'm out? Because I assume they've done some kind of cost analysis that says, sure, we'll lose 10% of the super casuals who will quit because the game's too hard or unfair, but we'll gain 30-40% in revenue from the people who remain and buy those loot boxes.
So that's the thing, that when you sit there and you look at it is, let's face facts. On PC's the one quote-unquote console that has the least amount of people buying it. Let's face facts. Most people are console gamers. Console gamers are going to jump on it. Like, it's the reason why they come out with a Call of Duty every freaking year. Because, and if you look at the numbers, statistically speaking, they'll sell 3-4 times the amount of copies on consoles as they will on PC. And it's one of those crazy things that, like, I've found shit online where, like, a lot of these big companies have even contemplated not even releasing those games on the PC and save themselves the money of making it on the PC. Because they're like, fuck it, we're not getting enough money from the PC. Like, they're banking on, tell whoever the fuck opened your door to shut the fuck up. I saw you look over like, huh? They're like, hey, we need to. But it's one of those things where, like, it's the only way that we're gonna finally send the message across is literally people have to not get the game. And the problem is that on consoles and all that, you have a lot younger audiences and things like that. They're gonna want the game regardless. So they're gonna sell the copy. It's just the reason, like I said, it's the reason why we have a Call of Duty every single year. I mean, I played the beta for the Call of Duty World War II, and it's Call of Duty. It's the same shit as any Call of Duty that you load up. It's a Twitch fucking shooter that if you can get the drop on somebody first, you're gonna kill them.
And if you think about it, it's smart, because think about it, like you said, you have young people who will either be able to get their parents' money, or even the little money that they get is enough to buy some of these items. Then you have more and more people who are not having kids, have a little bit more disposable income. So those people have money to spend on this stuff. It's not like you're necessarily marketing to people with mortgages and kids and stuff where they're like, hey, I can't spend this kind of money. These are people who are living in apartments and have a lot more disposable income. So you're more likely to convince those people to buy this stuff than you would, I guess your average, people.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, like, when you sit there and you look at it, is you're slowly but surely having the console market grow more and more, because let's face facts, being a PC gamer is difficult because it's the most expensive way to game itself. And at the same time, like, you're going to see a lot more stuff come out on PC that you would never see come out on console. But at the same time, it's a dwindling market for us PC gamers. And it just, like, sucks to see something like that where, like, you can see they're pushing this towards that younger crowd, towards the, hey, mom, get me this, can I get $50 to buy these things, and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like they're honestly, like, it's one of those things to me that I see that they're kind of like abusing the system in a sense of they're testing this stuff out and just kind of like, let's see if we can pull a little bit more and pull a little bit more and pull a little bit more and let's see how far we can go and blah blah blah. And the problem is instead of people saying like, okay, you guys are going too far, they fall into that bullshit of the, ooh, yeah, I want to do this. Ooh, I want to do like that. Oh yeah, like give me. And that's why it keeps going further and further and further, because they're literally going to push to the point where I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, hey, guess what, guys? Pay us $60 and we'll let you reserve the game. And then when they're like, cool, you can reserve the game, that'll be another $50 for the game. And then the game's going to come out and it's not going to be finished. And they're like, all right, cool, it's going to be another $40 to get the rest of this game. And then we're going to give you loot boxes, but you got to get us another. Like, they're going to keep doing that shit until finally people are like, whoa. I mean, because if you sit there and you think of like these games like Call of Duty, you pay $60 for the game. And then they say, but hey, if you want to get all the DLC, it's an extra $40 or $50. So in reality, to get like the complete experience, $110. But yet they still like, no, the game's only $60. Yeah, sure. But I don't want to go too deep into this topic itself, because this is going to be a rant for another day.
You know what's eventually going to happen is you're going to get the game, and it'll be digital, but they'll send you a package, and you're like, well, what's this package? And when you open it up, it's a credit card slider, and it's USB. And you plug it in, and when you're playing the game, as soon as you get your ass kicked, it's like, would you like a power-up? Please swipe your credit card. And you swipe your credit card, and you get a buff for whatever, like 15 minutes, and it's like, your buff is ran out. Please swipe your credit card. That's just going to – or matter of fact, it won't even be with each game. They'll just send it to you. It's like, hey, do you own an Xbox? Here's the Xbox One credit card slider. You just slide your shit.
And that's the thing that, like, what's sad about it is, like, you look at and really when you look at that big picture of it all, it's all coming from the major game developers. It's all Activision, it's all EA and all that. And it's funny because, like, they just what's the name of that studio that they just closed? Visceral. Like, they're literally, like, EA's gotten to the point where they've become the known in the industry of, don't let EA buy your studio because they're gonna shut them down. You know, and Visceral's the next one that they did, and it fucking sucks because it's like, you know, I'm pretty sure they buy them with this grandeur of like, we're gonna make your studio huge and this and this and that, and then it's like, out the door you go. See you guys.
And if you think about it, it's smart too, because a good way to push out competition, even though it's not like EA is sitting there worried about every indie developer that comes out, but a lot of things that you'll see when you're reading reviews about indie games is people will be like, oh, this game was hard and it was difficult. And I'm just thinking, well, that's true. Like, if these smaller companies are not thinking about throwing in all these little things to make the game easier, and they're just thinking about making a pure game, it'll be difficult. Like, imagine you go and you put people in games like Mega Man 1 and things like that. Now, people will be like, oh my God, this game's too hard. So you need to make like ultimate continues and ultimate, extra lives and extra power-ups and this and that, where an indie game can't do that. So you get these people who are used to having things fed to them over and over and over. The indie guys can't do it. So they're like, yeah, I don't like indie games.
This is the thing that when you sit there and you look at, like, there's two good examples of the indie thing. One was the people that made or that are making that game, We Happy Few, that started off as an indie game but got bought out by, I don't remember who it was. But it literally went from, hey, pay $30, you can pre-order the game for $30, to then people that pre-ordered it for $30 getting emails like, hey, so since we bought this out, we're going to come out for it at $60. So you got to fork over $30 more. And then, of course, they came out with the different versions with, like, the game one, the gold edition, the legendary edition. And, like, it's starting to take this toll where they're, like, taking this game that everybody was like, this is going to be a cool game, and they're starting to alter it and change, and how can we put microtransactions and all this stuff into it. And I know a couple of people that pre-ordered that game that the moment it got bought out and then they got the email saying, hey, blah, 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 blah. They're like, fuck it, I'm canceling my pre-order. I'm not going to buy it because they're going to ruin the game. And then you look at a game like Cuphead, which amazes me. And if you have not played that game, you need to play that game. It is Such a great game. Now, here's a game that it was a really small studio. They sat there and put a trailer out for the game 2 years ago at an E3. Everyone went apeshit over it. Microsoft stepped in and said, you know what? We're not only going to publish with you, we're going to like help fund you guys. They literally took an extra year to make the game longer than what they intended to make it initially. And they did not jack up the price of the game. It came out, it's $30. It stayed at $30 from when they announced it initially to now, even though Microsoft put it out. And Microsoft right now is just rolling in the dough that they're getting from this game because people that pre-ordered it and people that bought it paid the same amount of money and they got way more content than what they thought they were going to get initially. And the thing about the game is, like, if you have not seen it or played it, it is literally, it's just a shooter. And it's funny because the way that the levels go, like everybody thought it was going to be like a run and gun and then you get to a boss. Like, no, there's like literally the levels are you fight a boss. And they do attacks that are patterns and you have to kind of like figure it out and get the boss. And then they have sections that are run and gun that you just have to make it to the end of the stage to beat the stage. And the way that it works is on the run and gun stages, there's coins that you pick up that you can buy power-ups with. So when you sit there and you look at it, like that could have easily been a thing that Microsoft would have been like, cool, you can either play those run and gun stages or you can pay money and get coins. Ha, ha, ha. They didn't do that. They left the game the way it was. And the thing about the game is that it's a tough game. And when I mean it's a tough game, like this is like almost Dark Souls level type of tough. Like hard, but not so hard that you're just going to like throw your control and be like, fuck this game and walk away from it. Like it's hard that when you finally beat that boss, you're like, fuck yeah, you know, like you really enjoy the game itself. And there's already been like a few bosses that I've been in battles with that, and this is the other thing that I think makes it really great. Like when you die, on the like game over screen, it shows like a little track and it has little flag markers which show the stages of the boss, and then it shows your little character and he runs along that thing of how far dead the boss was. So like there was a couple bosses where like I got killed and literally he ran almost to the end. I was like just at the end. I'm like, fuck, I was right there, you know, like, and it makes you play it again and again and again. Like it is amazing of a game. And the art style is unbelievable too. Like it's drawn in that like old school 1930s kind of cartoon. And apparently these guys did everything by hand, like all the animations and everything, which is why it took them so long to do it. But then when it took them an extra year to add all the extra content to the actual game itself. So
nice.
It's amazing. But like that, when you sit there and you look at it, is a good example of a game done right, that even though they got picked up by this big entity, the entity realized like, okay, they've already made these promises, like we got to come out with it like this. Like they could fucking sit there and come out with Cuphead 2 and fucking do the microtransactions and all that if they want to. But I honestly think like if they would have done that to the original one, like it would have ruined the game. Like people would have probably sat there and like probably bought it, realized it was crap because of that, and then got rid of it. And if you look at it, just look at all the reviews for Shadows of Mordor, that everybody says it's a great game, but the microtransactions ruin the game. Like, and it's true. Like, it's a great game. Microtransactions ruin the game. That's it. You know, and how many people are not buying that game? Like, there's people that are buying it because they're like, oh, I want to play the sequel to, you know, to that thing, and, you know.
Well, hopefully it'll be one of those things where we have that, you know, coming to moment where we're like, we gotta push back on this because
we gotta wake up, because if we don't do something, they're gonna just keep pulling until they can realize, okay, oh, we went too far. Like, and at that point, it's gonna be too late, because then they're just gonna back off a little bit, and we're gonna be getting screwed.
Well, we're gonna be back with another show very soon. I hope you guys like our shows, because we are having a drive to get more people to come on and subscribe to our shows. We're pumping out a lot more gameplay videos, more shows, more clips, more interviews. So if you like what you're seeing,
we got to stick with the clickbait show.
Yeah.
What was that? No. Keep coming to our shows, guys.
Yes.
With more clickbait shows. All right.
More sexy girls coming soon. But
you guys have already voted. We know what you like to see.
Yes, exactly. We have the data.
We have the data. I laugh at the fact, like, going on that, I'll never forget. We put up the clickbait show, and I think it was, 2 days after we put it up, you already sent me a message like, yo, we already broke 100 views on the clickbait show. I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, we're lucky
for us, it's a lot.
Yeah, I was like,
for you people out there that's like, wait a minute, that ain't shit. Not for us, not for our little
not for us, considering that all our other videos, if we break 30 views, we're like, holy crap, that show was good.
I think that YouTube has buried us because we've been around for a while and we've done some big interviews, but they're still like, nah, y'all stay here in the basement.
We gotta break 1,000. We gotta break 1,000 subscribers, then we'll get on to the big.
Hey, and we're close there. That's why I say, if you guys like what you see, you like our shows, you like our gameplay videos, click to subscribe, like us, tell us what we're doing good, tell us what we're doing bad. We want to hear from you. But, the Obsolete Gamer Network is going to be coming with a lot more of all the things that you like and probably some stuff you don't, because that's how we work. So, I hope you guys, we don't care, as you can see by our numbers.
Yeah.
But those of you who have subscribed, who do watch our shows, who do click and leave comments, we really appreciate you guys, and we hope that you continue to do that. But until next time, we're going to have more shows coming up. I'm Jay A. LaRock. He's Randy. Till next time.
Peace.
Peace.